Look, hello, Miss Karen. Look, we got our
Hello.
tiaras on. We're
Yes, we
here.
do.
Yes, I'm calling this book the tea. I just told Karen, book the tea because
Yeah.
of the books and the tea. And it's actually two books. So, of course, we're here because we love Julia and we're going to discuss. We already did this in private, our private book talk, but we're going to discuss that book even more because I want to encourage as many people as possible to read it. All of her stuff,
Right.
we really wanted to do this a long time ago, but I mean, life just gets away and I happen to be off. So,
Yes, me too. I'm
yes.
retired.
Yes, I love it. So this book, and by no means are we promoting anything. We just both have it and love it. So this book is so adorable. It's unofficial. And when you go inside, and I have a little slide presentation we can even use, which will show up close. But when you go inside, they have this wonderful beginning, and I wanted to read a little bit of it. So it's called Afternoon Tea. And I love it because they use like alliteration and I love that. It says, "Are you ravenous for Regency romance, famished for fun and frolics, starving for
Fast.
saucy secrets? Do you love sinking your teeth into a sensational scandal? How about sinking your teeth into a scrumptious spread of scones, cakes, macarons, cookies, crostini, and other delectable delights fit for a queen, lord, lady, or indeed cockney dressmaker posing as a sophisticated French woman? Celebrate the drama, deception, and yes, the Duke's derriere by indulging in one of these 16 afternoon teas, each inspired by one of Bridgerton's captivating characters. Recreate Gunther's tea party in your own a tea shop, I'm sorry, in your own living room, complete with perfectly pressed tablecloth, three-tiered cake stand, and strategically placed spoon in case any of your guests want to recreate the come hither cutlery, that's it, licking scene that caused quite a stir."
I remember that scene.
And I won't read any more because I don't want to give it away, but there's more. And it's so adorable how they have it set up. So I was like, I am going to just start from the beginning and I am going to do every single tea that they suggest because there were some I've never had. And then I'm also going to make one recipe from each. And I don't know if you've looked through it yet, Karen, but they have like fancy recipes and really super simple recipes too. So it was
Yes,
easy
they
for
do.
me.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do. And one thing that I would like is how they do the table of contents.
Yes.
It's like this. So you have different characters, so you know where they come from. Like the eccentric tea is inspired by Queen Charlotte, the Parisian tea by Madame Delacroix. Then you have the Confidence tea, which would be Lady Danbury. The tipsy tea. I wonder if there's alcohol involved. With
Cool.
Lord Featherington, the punchy tea, which is Will Mondrick. So I really like how they the bitchy tea. Who's the bitchy tea? Do you know?
No, Lady Danbury, who?
She's blonde.
Yes,
Cressida Cooper.
yes. So the one I went with was the first one, which is an elegant tea, and it is Daphne's tea, and they suggest a rose tea, which I have never had. I have had in a Moroccan restaurant in a glass. Oh, we have someone here. Hi, Jan. In a glass that they put rose petals in, and from way up high, they it hot water beat down on it and it released like it was, oh my god, it was the best. And then they add a little mint. So I've had that. I didn't know if that counted as rose tea or not, but this is actually, it's kind of mild. Can you see it?
I can. It's a nice pinky color. It looks like from here.
Yes, it's real. I didn't put anything in it because I didn't know what it would be like. I'm not a person who often likes milky tea, so I might have added sugar or honey, but I added nothing, and it smells well, it smells delicious and it tastes delicious. So
And exactly, it's kind of like when I go out for my teas with my friends once a month to the fancy places.
mhm.
I always say to them, "What is the strongest, fruitiest tea you have?" Because that's what I'm attracted to.
Right.
And if it comes in, it's kind of like weak. I don't like it. I like a
Mm.
strong fruity tea.
Right. I do too. I like fruity teas the best. I'm not someone for I do like spices, but only certain spices. Some spices get me, so I have to be careful. But I thought, okay, this is not bad. I don't know if it's my favorite.
Mhm.
But I was like, okay, I'm willing to try something new. And then from here, I'm gonna actually share my little slide presentation really quick so everybody can see. So that's the book, and that was my teacup that I chose for this time.
Mhm.
And then this is the contents up close, and I went with the very top one, or like we're reading left to right, is the elegant tea, and it has like it's Daphne inspired. It has all kinds of little like commentary. Whoever wrote this is an excellent writer, and they're cheeky, like, you know what I mean? They have such great like sense of humor, but they're really beautiful grammar. And so I chose this, and then I wanted to show you what the tea looked like up close. That's what it looks like. It's pretty, right?
Yes, very pretty.
Very pretty. And I chose my little rose teacup because I liked
Mhm.
it. And then that's the recipe that I chose, but I put it on toast points. So I didn't want to give away the recipe because I want people to actually buy it, but I wanted to share real quick before we dive into our delicious book from Julia. I wanted to share just some of the little things that I did really fast.
Mhm.
So I put it on toast points. They have it on Christini, and it's actually two different versions. So this one is the smoked salmon, and it was so paper thin. I rolled it a little bit and then I put it in strips like they suggest. Then they tell you how to make this special type of mayonnaise. So it's mayonnaise, has a little bit of hot sauce in it if you want. They also added lemon juice, and then you whip it all up. But they say to add dill, but I went with capers because I love them. And then the other one, the second one is like a pea mixture. Now, you gave me a great recipe, Karen. I think it was pea with strawberry I had tried. That was delicious.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, it's
Anything strawberry is delicious.
I don't know if it was, I think it was at one of your tea parties and I saw it and I had asked. So this one is interesting. This one is frozen peas, you let them thaw. And then you could grind it up even more than this, but I put it in a food processor, and you add wine, white wine to it. You don't cook it either, so it's got a little bit of wine in it, but it was good. And it also has some seasonings and whatnot. And they you can do red onion or what is that? A shallot on the side, and Parmesan cheese, and then you put
Ooh.
olive oil in there, and that's what kind of makes it pasty. So then you can put it on your toast, and or your crostini. I actually did toast points, and I put butter on them and put them in the air fryer. And the reason why I did that is because I didn't have any gluten-free crostini. So I was like, well, toast points are very English. Let me try
Very.
it. So, and I had English butter, and it came out delicious. So, yeah.
I mean, another thing that I have done too with bread is you get the big size cookie cutters.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yes.
Keep going. Tell them. I love
And
that.
then you press it into the bread and you get that shape. When I've done it when this before I make the sandwich. And
Mhm.
I've actually done it where I've used cookie cutters to cut cheese to be a perfect shape of what I
Perfect.
wanted it to be, to
Oh,
put on
that's
top,
cute. Yeah.
cucumbers. So
Mhm.
you can basically use, there's mini cookie cutters and then the larger size depending on what you want to do. But if you had like a piece of bologna and you wanted to make it fancy, well, take your flour cookie cutter, and now all of a sudden it's a fancy piece
That's the thing.
of
I
deli
love
meat.
it. And it's not real expensive to do that. That's like a hack. It's
Yeah.
a tea hack.
Yes. Yes. And I'm all for cheap.
So this is what it looks like in real life. I'm gonna eat that in a minute. And this is the one with the peas. I
Have you
did it
tried it
all up.
yet?
Yes, I have, and I tasted it along the way, and I'll eat that while we're chatting. So, I also have I have water with me, but I thought, oh, this is so lovely. I wanted to do this for so long, and we get to like talk about the book. Let's look. We have some people just saying hi and asking questions. We have Facebook user, not sure who that is, but hello, and they said it looks good. It is good. It is delicious. And Jan says hello. Looked up drunken tea. Okay, in China known as chazu. So someone who moves into an altered state similar to alcohol. Well, she has a maple leaf shaped cookie cutter. That would be cute.
Oh, you
Oh,
can use anything. I mean, in the
yeah.
holidays, you can do snowmen, snowflakes, Santa Claus,
Mhm,
stockings. You could do shamrocks for St. Patrick's Day. So
mhm.
basically, those cookie cutters, I have cookie cutters, tons of cookie cutters. I never make cookies.
Okay,
I use them for the tea parties.
that's a good idea. And I gave away
Yeah.
a whole bunch of cookie cutters, like a dum dum, but
But
I
even
still
the
have a whole
small
bunch.
ones, the small cookie cutters, if you take the pre-cut cheese and it's like a 1.5 by 1.5 inch square, what I have done
Mhm.
is cut it out so I get the shape in the middle. And then now you have the piece that's got the hole in it. And so you
Mm.
have a cracker, you put the pepperoni down. Now you put the piece that has the hole on it, and it's like a stained glass window with the pepperoni coming out.
That's really cute. So
So
you have to share
there's no
some of those.
waste. Yeah, there's no
Mm.
waste.
When we come back, because we'll do this again, you'll have to share some of those things.
Perfect. I can send you pictures and you can
We'll
post them up.
upload. So let's dive into the book. I have mine on the phone. I do love the feel of the book. I love when, it's an author that I adore. I love to have the actual book, but my eyes, I mean, I need even with glasses
Yeah.
and I have an autoimmune disease, so it affects things and it's been affecting my eyes. So I have to get the audio version. I mean, not audio, the book version. And then I highlight everything and I read from the book. But you should have the real book, right? You
I
always do.
do. I
Yeah.
have the first time it ever came out. Shows you what they're supposed to. This way, what they're supposed to look like.
I
If
love
you
it.
happen to want to see the picture of what they are. So,
I love the cover because it was like a purpley color, right?
yep.
Yep, you got it. And it was shiny. Oh, I
Yep.
love it. So I made
First
some
edition.
notes and we're going to dive in. We've already talked about this book with our book club, but I thought it would be fun that we tease a lot of it because I'm hoping someone will, start reading it afterwards. And they still have time to read this because you can go through it fast. But then
Exactly.
there's a companion book that goes with it, and then they could join us at the end of the month.
Exactly, because that's coming up at the end of the month. So you don't have to read both books in order to be up to date with the book at the end of the month.
Right.
But this is such a quick read that
It's good. You should do
you
it.
could do both of them by the end of the month and it would be absolutely fine, which would give you background on the hero for the book we're reading this month because he's in
Yes.
this book and he's
And
adorable. I love him.
listen, I knew when I read that book that I was like, where's that book? I am going to love that man. Where is that man? And it's funny because we have our mutual friend, and it was Doreen, and she's like, she has a book crush on him. Oh my goodness. And I do too. And it's funny because I'm going to talk about a word that well, I'll get to that. A word that has to do with our feelings after we read a book, but it goes so fitting with this
It does.
because of the story how she kept her notebook. Remembered she always put words in that she knew, so I'll bring it up then. But I was going to share this real quick. That's just a teacher in me here. So this is the cover that I think we used on our book club, and I think I posted it and featured, and that's how people knew how to join and talk to us at the end of the month. And next to it, and so this is To Catch an Heiress, and next to it, I went and I researched what the area looked like because a lot of the scenes. Hi, Candace. A lot of the scenes on in this story take place by the beach. I mean, there's sexy scenes on the beach and emotional scenes on the beach and some scary scenes on the beach. So I thought that was different and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of
And
those scenes on the beach, they were fun.
there's some funny scenes. The dialogue is she never disappoints with dialogue. So okay, so I picked this. Now you know why I picked this, Karen, because I couldn't get over this. And we were in our book talk. So I'm going to read, I don't want to read her book, but I'm going to read a tiny piece of it because I have to talk about the very, very beginning. And she winds up getting kidnapped, mistaken identity, right? And they stuff a dirty rag like this in her mouth. Couldn't get beyond that.
It's like I just wanted to brush my teeth with antiseptic.
I know it was so disgusting. So I wanted to read the very beginning of the book because it's so good. So I teach my students about exposition, right? And when they plot out a story to understand it, they to first understand the story, but then also when they have to write maybe their own. And we talk about hook, right? So exposition's that very beginning. So I want to read this because she's such a master, Julia. But look at this.
She
So
is. And this is one of her early books, too.
I know. So it's July 3rd, 1814. And it says Carolyn Trent hadn't meant to shoot Percival Pruitt. Is that how you would say it? Pruitt?
Yes, Pruitt. Yeah.
But she had, and now he was dead. Or at least she thought he was dead. There was certainly enough blood. It was dripping from the walls. It was splattered on the floor. The bedclothes were stained quite beyond redemption. Carolyn didn't know very much about medicine, but she was fairly certain a body couldn't lose that much blood and still live. She was in big trouble. And
She
I was
was.
like, oh, where is this going now? Isn't that a great hook?
She is like you said, the master. She can suck you in right from the beginning of a story. And to me, that was definitely a major hook.
Now, what were some of your favorite parts of this book?
The banter between the characters. And it's kind of like the two main characters would be bantering, and James, who's the character for the next book, just walks away, kind of like, do what you want to do. It's very comical. And I think that's another thing that Julia is very masterful at, is humor in her books. And that's what attracted me in the first place. I don't have anything marked right here about the funny stuff, but I mean, so many things. I mean, just sitting at the table chatting, and like he comes into the room in the morning, and has Carolyn eaten? Well, yes, half the ham's gone. She's eaten.
I'm chomping away. Let me put this back up here real fast so we all can see. I don't want to make people nervous. I have no manners for my tea. Oh, sorry. All right, so I put a ham up there because of what you said.
Oh, that was a good scene.
I know. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
But that, and digging up his garden, making a total shambles of the garden as she's trying to fix it, and then trying to explain to him that, no, you've got your garden all incorrectly organized because you've got your sunflowers in the shade and your shade flowers in the sun, and that's why it's not blooming, but it will be better when I'm done.
I know. And he's like, what? Why are you doing this to me? The ham thing.
That was funny.
So he's a bit grumpy, and he only has like 3 people on his staff. Yeah. And he never brings anybody to his place. And the housekeeper, he was saying, when she makes him breakfast, she makes him like 2 fried eggs, a slice of ham, a piece of toast. And he walked in, and they love Carolyn, who was staying at his place. It has to be a secret, right? And they make her these most amazing things to eat. So he walks in, and he's like, oh my gosh. And he says, Mrs. Mickle had clearly found new culinary inspiration. And Blake had no doubt, because that's his name, that her name was Caroline Trent. He resolved not to let himself grow irritated at the way his housekeeper was playing favorites, and instead decided simply to fill his plate and enjoy the bounty. He was munching on the most delicious strawberry tart, which made me want to have one, when James strolled into the room. So James is his best friend from childhood, and the two of them are also spies, or they're part of the, what do they call it? The war what?
The agents of the crown. Is that agents of the crown? Yeah. So
yes.
They work for the government.
Yes. So he comes in. This is the character, James. They give us a little bit of him. He gets his whole book on his own. He is so delicious. Good morning to you, the Marquis said. Where is Caroline? Damned if I know, but half the ham is missing, so I imagine she's come and gone. James whistled. Mrs. Nichols certainly outdid herself this morning, didn't she? You should have had that Caroline moving sooner. Blake shot him an irritated glance.
The banter between the 2 male characters, as well as Caroline with Blake, is just, it makes you want to just keep reading the whole thing. And another part, talking about the housekeeper and the cook and the butler being a little bit full of themselves, is when they order tea. Do you have that one marked where they ordered tea and they didn't want to serve a full tea unless they were positive Carolyn was there, and they actually had to prove that Caroline was at tea before they served them food at the tea. Shows their loyalty towards her because they weren't really happy where she was staying.
Right. And she was in his closet, which was not really a closet. It was his bathroom, but like it was like where you got dressed and whatnot. And she had to hide in there.
Right.
Because people like he has a relative that comes, but just that she was there and tied to the bed because he's not sure who she is. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He just ties women to the bed.
I know. But when she has to stay in that room, I thought that was hilarious. And then the sister comes up. I saved that because first of all, the sister, it comes unannounced. So the two guys, Blake and James, they're talking with Carolyn in his bathroom, right? And she comes up, the sister, and comes upon it. So Carolyn goes and hides right in there's a door that leads on the other side that leads down to the stairwell that would be for the servants, and she's hiding in it. And they're talking, and when they get caught again, like you said, Julia, and her banter is amazing. The conversations between the two, I have it saved. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. Oh my gosh.
I mean, for me, what I would picture is this elaborate bedroom and then a small room off of it where he would change, where he'd use the chamber pot, where he might leave dirty clothes on the floor, where, the servants would come up the set of stairs you were just talking about to clean the chamber pot, because goodness knows he doesn't want his nose offended by carrying it through his bedroom.
Right. No, it's true. Right. And that's where he gets himself all ready. There's a wonderful, we get wonderful scenes in Bridgerton where the boys are, either getting a shave or soaking in the tub in theirs. And I'm like, oh, la la, they have a nice little, bathroom, so to speak, too. So here it is. So Penelope is the sister, and she comes up and she hears them talking. So she peered in, her eyes darting from corner to corner. What's going on? Blake blinked. I beg your pardon? Who are you talking to? So now James, he steps out from behind the dressing room screen and he goes, me. And Penelope's lips parted in surprise. What are you doing here? I didn't realize you were back. He leaned against the wall as if it were the most natural thing in the world for him to be in Blake's bathroom. I returned about 10 minutes ago. We had a few matters to discuss, Blake added. In the washing room?
Hey, girls go to the bathroom and have chats.
I know. So now, in the meantime, Caroline's there hiding in the dusty stairwell and sneezes. And then they try to make up excuses and pretend they're sneezing. And then she gets discovered. And, the story goes on from there, which is so cute.
It actually is a good book.
It's really good. And then that was my last picture that I wanted to have, like a journal. She always had these journals that she was writing in.
Yes.
That was her. And I love how they even carried it over into the companion book where she's waiting on someone and she's like, I could be here all day. It doesn't matter. And she's sitting there like looking at her book that has all of her word of the day in it. Right.
Yeah. Well, she's a smart girl who wants to be smarter because she writes down the vocab words, but it's kind of like, I sort of get the feeling that she learns it for the day, but if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes. So she says that kind of too.
Yes.
And it's really cute because it's before every chapter, right? Doesn't it show up before every chapter in the book?
At the top of every chapter.
Yeah. I was going to show them. Is that your phone? Do you have to get your phone?
Yeah, it's my dad's.
Oh, I was going to say, go ahead, go grab your phone. We're informal here. Let's see if you could show it's on yours and then I have it blown up on mine too. Yeah. So I have a word of the day for everyone. And I thought it was cool. Wait a minute, I'm trying to find, I'm trying to go ahead.
The one I picked was sorricide, SORORICIDE, sorricide. It's the action of killing one's sister.
Well, that would be appropriate. He wanted to, in that scene with Penelope. Oh
yes, my God. And her sentence is, I feared sorricide. I truly did.
Feared that he was going to kill his sister. Oh my gosh. This one is Conternoble, one who occupies the same tent, a tent fellow comrade. The thought of Percy, Pruitt as my contenurable. Is that how you say it?
Contra
Contu.
Contubernal.
You're saying it
Contubernal.
right. Contubernal. Okay. As my contubernal causes me to break out in hives. Oh, the idea of her having to share space with him. Oh God.
Oh yes,
Which
yes.
winds up shooting him. So we're not going to tell you if he's dead or not. You'll have to figure that out yourself.
But what I like about her, she never shies away from big words. I mean, I
Yeah.
sometimes I'll be reading her books and
Mhm.
I'll have to, I'll have to ask my devices what it is because I'm like, what does that word mean? And I like that she does that. It's okay to challenge us.
It is. I look up all the time. And we have a person who's always in our book group with us, Glynis. She's always looking up those words and talking about them. And she's a great
Yes.
sense of humor and finding some fun humor with it. I love it.
And she
All right.
posts on our page all the time.
Yeah,
She
she
she's
does.
wonderful.
She has really great, I don't know, she's super intelligent. She has really great fun wit about her, and I love her posts. Okay, so I put book hangover in there, and people always talk about this, and they're like, after you're finished reading a book, like you're still thinking about it, and you kind of feel a little sick by it, and you kind of like, or it's in your head and you're thinking when you're taking a shower or driving down the road, and it's a real turn. You're like hung over by the book.
Right.
And they
Right.
say it goes away in a few weeks or until you read another book that you fall in love with. Yeah. So we get
Well,
book drunk.
I keep waiting for her to have an older uncle or somebody for me. You know?
Like a
Seriously,
delicious,
I want her to write a character like me, an old lady who's looking for
you're not
love.
even old.
Well, my age. I mean, I'm actually Lady Danbury's age, so it's kind of like that age finding love. And I've said to her, matter of fact, I embroidered something that says, "Where's my Bridgerton when you where's the Bridgerton when you need one?" And eventually it will become a quilt, part of a quilt. But I'm like going, I've been wanting my own Bridgerton for years, ever since I read the first Bridgerton book when it first came out, because I am such a sucker for her books that the day it came out, I was always at the bookstore when
I
they
love that.
unpacked them all the time.
I love it. And it's a good book. People should read it.
Yes.
I enjoyed every page of it. There was nothing that made me angry because sometimes I'll get angry at little pieces or mad at something, which is just that's good writing. But I loved all of it.
Mm-hmm. The
Um,
characters stayed in character.
yes, the dialogue was amazing. You get great sex scenes. You get emotional stuff that will touch your heart. Things that make you laugh out loud constantly. And
Yes.
then and then it was the introduction to the most delicious character I've seen in read about in a long time, and that goes to the companion, which is How to Marry a Marquis. That is great. Yes,
Yes,
and that's coming.
I'm on my preliminary reading for the book talk.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. And that's where we first meet Lady Danbury,
Yes,
because
we
I don't think
do.
we yeah, so
Mm,
I
you-
mean, they might be mentioned here and there, but to actually have a huge part, this is the first book that I can think of that she had a really huge part in. And I
oh,
have to say, she's very manipulative in this book, and that's all I'm going to say.
she is. She
For a
is
good
very.
cause,
Mm, mm.
cause she's got a wonderful nephew.
I know. I know that's true. It's good. They're both good. So I'm hoping that whoever's here or whoever, because this will post, whoever watches,
Yes.
you and listens, you will read the first book, but you'll definitely read the second book, and then you could join us at the end of the month. I haven't put a post up yet, but it's always the last Friday of the month,
Correct.
and it's at 8 o'clock, right? We do it
Yes.
that way
Eastern
because
Standard Time.
yes,
Eastern
we
Time.
Eastern time. We do it that way because we have friends from other countries like Australia that join us, and that's easiest for them. That's a
Right.
Saturday morning. Yeah.
Well, we found when it was on another day, they were like skipping work or they had
Yeah.
earphones in at their desk. And it was like, oh, no, we're not going to do that. We'll just
Yeah,
swap
we'll
it
fix
Friday.
it.
So it's your Saturday afternoon. So it
Yeah.
works out for all of us.
Mhm.
And we have a wonderful group. Wonderful group. And our discussions, by the way, Miss Roxanne, I
Mhm.
took notes on our discussions. So
Mhm.
in our next edition of Lady Whistledown, don't be surprised if some of the things we talked about are actually in there.
I love it. That'll be great.
Yes, because what I do, and if anybody who's out there happens to be a budding writer, if you write a article like in the style of Lady Whistledown and private message it to me on Facebook, it will be in our Lady Whistledown that is going to be coming out monthly.
Okay.
I saw Janice's comment. That was awesome. I'd go for the chicken.
That's a good idea, Jen. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure who Facebook user is. I'm just going to assume that they're on our page because I was streaming it to our page. But I hope you're on our page and I hope you join our book club, unless you already are and you're incognito. We don't know who this is.
Wait a minute. Is that Julia?
Julia, is that you?
One of these days, we're hoping.
Maybe. Oh, this was good. Okay, that was it. I just wanted to have like a little chat, hang out.
Perfect. Half an hour, get to meet some new friends. Hopefully they'll join us for the book club because we absolutely love having new people.
Yeah.
Right now we have about 8 to 10 people.
Yes. Sometimes some people have to go on a family trip. Are you kidding me? You give us up for your family trip.
I know.
or you're off to Singapore. Isn't that where someone was? Right? They went to Singapore. I know. So I'm pretty sure there's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's about 9 of us.
Okay, Facebook user is saying that they don't see anyone else's comments. I know for myself, Facebook user, there's up at the top, it says private chat and then comments. When I hit the comments, that's when I saw what everybody was saying.
Right. You have to, in your device, you have to hit the thing that says comments. The only other time it might not be is you might not be signed in because it just says Facebook user. And I think sometimes when you're not signed in, you can't see everybody's, but that doesn't make sense. I think that's on YouTube. Sorry. Yes, I don't know if you could look at the upper right hand section. The comments are fun. Like just Janice saying hello and that she looked up drunken tea, and just comment is Jan is the only one that's commenting, and then Candace is here and she said hello. But I usually will put like certain things across so everybody can see it.
Correct.
And Janice always goes through YouTube. But you know what, Janice? I streamed it to Facebook, our Facebook page. And that's probably why he or she was able to see it and jump on. It wasn't streamed through YouTube. So the next time we get together and talk about a book, and there are many others that we've read. What are some of the books that we've read so far, Karen, that are by Julia?
Oh, Minx, Splendid. It was Minx and Splendid. And what's the third one? That's Dunford's story.
Oh my God. And I love
Henry.
Vixen. No, not Vixen. Minx. Isn't Minx isn't Dunford's story?
No, it's Minx. I'm trying to think. There's Splendid, Minx,
Dancing at Moonlight or Midnight or Dancing at Midnight.
Could be Dancing at Midnight. Yeah. But no, there's we've done those. We've done the 4 prequels.
Yes, the Rokesbys. Oh my gosh, those are musts.
Those are musts. And again, what we do is we do 1 book a month, and if they're related to each other, like this is like 2 that go together because they're Agents of the Crown. We'll read those 2. What we're hoping to do is when we find out for sure when season 3 is going to be released, we're going to be reading book number 4, which is Penelope and Colin's story, the month beforehand so that we can discuss it before it airs. So that will probably be November's book because we're thinking December 14th, I think it is. They haven't quite officially said that it was leaked at the proper date. So,
and I keep looking in the official database and they still haven't released anything yet. So.
But meanwhile, I mean, we could be meeting for tea like we just did now for half an hour and put on our tiaras. And
I have my pajamas on too.
I have my bathing suit.
I love it. Whatever goes. You're right.
I don't know what the temperature is where you are, but it is in the high 80s and humid here.
It's hot.
So I basically live in my bathing suit tops in the summer.
I got it. I remember you telling me about that before. That's a good idea. Keeps you nice and cool. So the second tea, if I'm going in order, is the Eccentric Tea, which was inspired by Queen Charlotte. By the way, we read her book. We read that book and had a special party for that one.
Yes, we did. with
I'm
tiaras and wigs.
yes, I'm
You
gonna
missed that one.
that was fun. I even had like a little shawl with a brooch who had dresses on. I think Doreen had a dress. I'm gonna do the next one in eccentric tea. And then I am going to host like what it is. I'm gonna do the tea. Now that tea, oh, I'm sorry, I said that loud, my voice cracked. That tea that they have for hers is I think it's I don't ever know how to say it. I want to say that it's like lapsang shushang. I don't know. But it's a smoky
Ooh.
Asian tea. And then they have all kinds of cool stuff in there. I'll pick out something like a raspberry meringue or something like that. We'll see. Fig and pistachio cupcakes. Ooh. So I mean, they have like fancy, and the photography in this book is amazing.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever had a tea that is a smoky taste to it?
Yes.
I mean, it literally tastes like smoke.
Yes. And that does to me.
I
This
have to
one.
tell you a funny story.
All right, want to hear it before we go. Come on, share,
Okay.
share.
We
No, I'm
went
not rushing
to
you. I'm like, I want to hear it. Go ahead.
we went to where they had the Boston Tea Party,
Mhm.
Abigail Adams Tea House, and you
Yeah.
have your choice of like 5 teas, and the teas they have are the teas that they threw overboard. And we were trying one of them, and my friend Sharon goes, "This tastes like a Boy Scout." What she meant was her son and my son were in scouts together, and they would come home from campfires smelling like the
smoke.
campfire. So it reminded her of when our sons would come home from campouts, and it's like all their clothes smelled like
Yes.
smoke.
Yeah.
And she goes, "It tastes like a Boy Scout." Let's just say a couple of people turned and looked.
Oh my God.
That's our Sharon story that we laugh at.
That's a good one, though. I love it.
It is.
Oh.
So we can talk later about which one we don't want to, what date we want to pick to do teas.
Okay.
Maybe we can pick a particular day of a week to do that. And if anybody has any ideas of, the best day for us to meet and do teas, put it in the Facebook comments. I'm sure that this is on a link on our page. So if you put it under that, which days you would prefer for us to get together and do tea, give us some suggestions for other things that you'd like us to discuss during tea, and let's go for it.
I picked this because I was like, oh, it's Tea Sipping Tuesday. This would be a great thing. I'll throw it up
yeah,
there.
that's right. We could do it on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mind if somebody wanted to do a different day, but I chose this because I was like, oh, it's Tuesday. It's something different to put up for everybody. And then it posts and anybody can see it.
I hate to tell you, I didn't even associate it with Tea Sipping Tuesday because I'm retired. I don't remember what day it is.
That's hilarious.
Just saying.
That's all
right. The queen doesn't have to remember the day.
No. All right, friends. We're going to say goodbye. You stay, Karen, so we could talk afterwards.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.